back to Real Hair Crimes here on the Babe Hair Extensions channel. My name is Courtney and I am your host, and I'm breaking up this episode into two parts because we have a lot to talk about in this. Not only do we have two stories, but I have a whole demonstration because this is weird. This is a whole thing, and that's my cat in case you were wondering. And all I have to say to start this episode out, life's a beach. But if you're gonna take your hair extensions on the beach, we need ground rules first, okay? So this story starts out like this. The craziest hair extension story I ever had was a client who I did like a complete full, close to 8 bundles of fusions on. And then she needed an updo for a wedding that she was in. So I did this amazing updo and she proceeded to fall asleep. Because I'm assuming maybe she had too much fun at the wedding and she forgot to take her hair down. So she fell asleep on it. When she woke up the next morning and decided that everybody was going down to the beach, she didn't want to be left out. So she went down to the beach too. She was like a whole mermaid, like diving in and out of the waves, having a great time with her extensions and the bobby pins in the updo still in her hair. So she calls me around 6 p.m. and says her hair is in a giant knot and her roommate has tried to get this giant knot out with olive oil and prying it apart with chopsticks. I'm sorry, it's kind of funny. Honestly, if you didn't know how to remove hair extensions, I might have done the same thing. So olive oil and chopsticks, not it. So imagine my horror at this point. I actually invited this client over to my home where I would try and attempt to get this knot out. It took me until like 1 a.m. This knot was so bad. It was full of bobby pins and tangles and fusion strands, and it was just the most horrific thing I have ever seen in my life. I worked on it till 1 a.m. where I said, you know what, we have to give up and just do something. I had to pull this softball size knot off her head about an inch. So imagine this knot, and she's pulling it off of her scalp. So she has about an inch of hair between her scalp and this knot. And I had to cut it. So now she has hair on her scalp in the middle of her head about 1 inch long. Well, what are you supposed to do with that? I did the best I could and I micro bonded that area. So the whole softball size section was cut off of her head and then micro bonded. So micro bonds are those really teeny tiny fusion strands. So we micro bonded her section from her scalp that was cut. It actually looked normal as long as she had it down, and you couldn't tell that anything had happened. But huge learning experience that we don't go into salt water with an updo that is hairsprayed with bobby pins, sleep on it, be a mermaid, and do all the things, right? Just everything caused this whole mess. So now I don't even tell people to go to the beach with their hair extensions in because it's such a horrific experience. With this second story, had a model that was going to be shooting at the beach, and she actually like laid down on the beach with the waves just like coming up over her. And I don't know why she didn't say anything about hair extensions being in or like tell the photographer, hey, like I have hair extensions. I probably shouldn't be laying down and getting sand and salt water and all this in my extensions. I don't know why. That wasn't even a conversation, but she did it and came back with like this whole dreaded mess, this knotted mess. And it's like the whole saltwater issue, like waves at the beach, it created this whole problem. So I want to give you kind of like a demonstration of what exactly happened, and I'm going to talk you through all the things that went wrong, and then next week we're going to talk about the real hair crime. So you're going to have to stay tuned. Okay? Here you go. So if you'll remember, she woke up and decided to go to the beach with her friends, where she proceeded to be a mermaid diving in and out of the waves. And as you can tell, there's a whole lot of salt and sand that gets stuck in the extensions and in the updo. So remember, she had bobby pins, probably some teasing, some hairspray in those. So then as you go to comb this out, it's almost impossible. And it also leaves the extensions super dry and damaged. So we want to avoid salty, chlorinated water and oceans unless you're going to protect the hair the proper way, which we'll talk about next week. So stay tuned for the real hair crime and how to solve it.